Greetings from Northern California, my friends. As you guys can see, it's a beautiful day here on the lake, and I just love living here. This is my hometown, and I'll tell you what, it was times growing up here that I wanted to leave here, but as I got older, I always wanted to find a way to come back and be able to live in my hometown and still do what I do, which is final expense. At the end of the day, it has always been my core business, final expense. And why is that? Final expense is just one of those type of insurance products that is simplified issue, meaning most people, when they call in looking for a quote, it's not going to be a very complicated issue. I'm going to take them through 6, maybe 12 health questions, run a weight chart, height and weight chart, check their medications, and 98% of the time, I'm able to help that person get some insurance coverage. And because of that simplicity, it makes it so you can do a whole lot of those every single week. And another part about final expense that I've always enjoyed is that on average, I will see a $500 commission advanced to me within 48 hours of my policy issuing. Now, $500 to some of you guys that are bigwigs might not sound like a whole lot of money, but for most people, $500 opportunity a day is a big deal. If you're able to make $500 every single day, it adds up real fast. And for me, over 22 years, that's why I've been such a big fan about final expense. It's amazing to see different companies out there that have products to sell, but when you look at how much you make when you make that sale, it's either going to be a major payday or they're just small deposits and you got to do a whole lot of volume, right? Or you see people doing sales like, let's say, in health insurance with all kinds of crazy regulation. Well, I'll tell you what, in 22 years of selling insurance, we've really never had an issue with the government trying to shut us down, right, because of some compliance issue. Again, easy. But the big cherry on top is the fact that with insurance sales, especially life insurance sales, and in my category, final expense, you get residuals. So after a few years of you writing good business that stays on the books, that stays paying every single month, you're seeing a thank you check from the insurance company. And for me, for every company I've worked for in my 22 years, I'm happy to say that I get residuals every month. I've sold some blocks of business over the years for a lot of money because, again, there's value there. So if you're watching this, you're new to the insurance industry, maybe one of my students, consider final expense. If you don't have a lot of money to get your career going, and a lot of products like IULs or some of your bigger life insurance policies, guess what happens? Those type of products takes weeks, sometimes months for you to get paid. And a lot of guys, when you get into the insurance industry, you're not looking at that, right? You're looking at everyone else's success, everyone else's story. But when you start looking at cash flow cycles and you realize you don't have a whole lot of money in your savings, final expense truly kicks in. But now let's talk about contracts. So now you're tuned into final expense, but now let's talk about contracts. When I started selling insurance, my contract was 65%. And that year I made $113,000, and that was 22 years ago. But back then, my lead cost was not what it is today. Today, an inbound costs $55. If you want to work a television lead, now you're talking about, 85 to $100. Crazy, right? So the difference of cost today compared to 22 years ago is a little bit different, almost 50% more per lead. Think about that. So imagine 22 years ago, we were paying a lot less for TV leads. I was paying $29 for Spanish TV and English television. Nowadays, again, TV is now $85 to $100 per call. So having a good contract, and I would say anything under 100%, is going to be very challenging for you to buy leads and to really make it work for you. I wish I could say otherwise. Think about it. If you're on a less than 100%, you get paid when the policy is issued. And on top of this, you're closing maybe 1 out of every 5 of those inbounds. And your contract's on the lower end, it's going to be a lot harder for you to cash flow your business. So that's one of the reasons for 2026, I'm not actively recruiting people. We're not training people. I'm focused on my personal production. I'm focused on our AI system and our Spanish side. But we're still contracting people. We're still, helping people, have success in this business. So one of the things I do is I kickstart agents at 130%. That's right. 130% to start as a producer. If you're serious, that's where I start agents off. That gives you enough cushion so you can cash flow your business and keep doing it. If we were to do free leads, that would be maybe 100%. But even companies that are out there doing free leads with less than 100%, I heard this one group, they were doing 50%, 60% contracts, free leads, and it required them to dial. You couldn't pay me enough money to dial all day long, especially with people not picking up the phone. So it is obvious that, having a good contract is important, especially you new people out there. And if you want to know more about that, hit me up. Having a decent contract that gives you enough room to make money and duplicate the process all over again. But you know what is the most important thing? Again, is leads. Leads, leads, leads. I'm a lead junkie. For 22 years, I have driven the sales in my agency by having consistent leads. It doesn't matter the lead source, as long as they're TCPA compliant and you're getting them at a cost that makes sense, that's going to be the name of the game. Because if you're going 1 week with no leads, another week with leads, that yo-yo effect is not going to help you long term. So you need good leads. Now, if I had to make a decision between high comp, leads, which is the more important, I would definitely lean towards an agency that has consistent leads. It's never perfect. Trust me, it's never perfect. But you want some place, some agency that you can access consistent leads that won't get you sued because the marketing firm doesn't know what the hell they're doing. So if I had to pick between a high comp and the ability to have consistent leads, I'm going to go with the lead system. But obviously compensation is extremely, extremely important. So I hope you guys all that are watching this, you guys can take some information from this. This has been the best business for me in all of these years, and I'd recommend it to anybody out there that loves sales. You can't go wrong with Final Expense. Peace.